Alright guys, so we got the data download tonight with two brand new Extreme Z Awakening characters. We have Tech Beerus, and then we also have the Int Cell, which is a bit of a surprise. When we saw that Tech Cell's event was returning in the news, and not only that Tech Cell, his EZA would be returning, but his actual Dokkan Fest event. When a couple of us saw that was going to be live for, about 2 weeks, I think, many people were kind of like, okay, Int Cell could potentially be getting an Extreme Z Awakening here, since this kind of follows the same formula of how STR Super Saiyan 3 Goku got his Extreme Z Awakening. And sure enough, it did turn out to be true. Int Cell also got an EZA. Now, Int Cell may just have the most impressive EZA in this sense. I think Int Cell was probably the worst of all of the units that have gotten an EZA so far, and he's actually a very respectable unit now. Look at 1.2 million. Again, if a unit is hitting over 1 million, that's like, it's solid. That's very usable. That's a very solid unit. Like, once you start getting over like 2 million and 3 million and stuff, now we're talking about the best units in the game. That's why Tech Beerus is legitimately like, maybe one of the top 10 Dokkan Fest units in the game now. Like, hitting 3.5 million consistently, actually, it's too much. Like, that's insanity. But Int Cell here, he could also be tremendously good. Now, I'm seeing some people are thinking that Int Cell is actually better than Tech Cell. I do disagree with that, but I'm going to want to do some kind of in-depth tests, because basically, Int Cell now, before he was only attack and defense 40%. So that's hardly impressive, right? He was the second or third TUR in the game, because it was the SCR Legendary Super Saiyan Broly was TUR number 1, and then Tech and Int Cell were TURs, 2 and 3. So, he's either the second or the third TUR in the game. Now, he's got attack and defensive buff of 90%. On super attack, he also greatly raises his attack. Now, that does stack, by the way. So, you can consistently stack Cell's super attack. Every super throughout the fight, is a 50% attack buff, which is going to really pay off after a while. I think Int Cell will really be able to hit hard. The only thing is, he is still a supreme damage unit. Tech Cell is an immense damage unit. Tech Cell also heals on super attack, whereas Int Cell, he heals only when your health falls below, I believe, 30% or 20%, something like that. He heals for 20%. Alright, so 1.8, again, like, Int Cell at 1.8 is madness. That's so good. That really is. Like, that's the thing. I do think Tech Cell is better, but, like, it doesn't matter. Like, Int Cell is not a Dokkan Fest exclusive. Int Cell is not an LR. Again, this is just a normal unit we could pull from any banner. So Int Cell goes from being one of the worst SSRs you could pull in the game to now legitimately being one of the best. Like, let's say you're you go through the World Tournament, you have some World Tournament summon tickets, and you pull Int Cell from the banner. If you don't have him rainbowed or SA10 or something like that, that's legitimately a really good pull. He's one of the better units you could pull on there. Like, for example, Int Cell is better than all of the Super Saiyan God Gokus. Something like that. He's a very impressive unit. And he'll be on several good teams, right? So we could use Int Cell on the Enhanced Transformation team. We could use Int Cell on the Revived Warrior team. We could use him on the Android team. All of these teams he's going to work very, very well on. I would say Tech Cell and Int Cell probably will be able to hit their highest attack stat on the actual Revived Warrior team here, utilizing Physical Kid Buu, which we, that's what we did. But here's the thing. Talking more about Int Cell versus Tech Cell as well. I've had many times Tech Cell have over a 2 million attack stat. I don't know how routinely Int Cell will be able to break a 2 million attack stat. Furthermore, I don't think I've ever used Tech Cell alongside Physical Kid Buu. I might have, but off the top of my head, I can't remember having actually done that. So, whereas Int Cell is at like 1.8 million, I do think, with 3, 4, maybe 5 orbs, Tech Cell is going to be between 2 million to 2.5 million. Like, he's just flat out a better unit. Like, it's just how it is. But we now have LR Cell, who, you guys know how good LR Cell is going to be. And then we have 3 options for Perfect Cell. SCR Perfect Cell, who's a Dokkan Fest, who's very good still. We have Tech Cell, who is a Dokkan Fest. He's really good, obviously, after his EZA. And now we also have Int Cell, who's very good after his EZA. Now, in terms of, is Int Cell better than STR Cell? I would probably say so. STR Cell does also have a sort of Kaioken. Whoa! 4.3 by Bojack right there? Chill, my boy. Please, let's relax, LR Bojack. We're not talking about you today. Oh, just an additional for 2.9. Nothing crazy here. Now, again, SCR Cell, he does also have the Kaioken attack raising mechanic, but he only raises attack, whereas Int Cell greatly raises attack. There is a difference there, pretty substantial difference. Ooh, pretty unfortunate rotation right here against Omega Shenron having 3 Int units. Actually, you know what? This is going to be a very good test for Int Cell to see how well he can defend here. See, that's the thing, too. Int Cell, I believe SCR Cell only gets an attack buff, whereas Int Cell and Tech Cell, they get defensive buffs as well. So that's why I prefer both of them over SCR Cell. That's crazy, man. SCR Cell, he is one of the most unfortunate units in, like, the history of the game. Just timing of when he was released, where he was released, teams you could use him on. Now both Tech and Int Cells are better. Okay, so he completely nullified damage from Omega. Pretty good. So Int Cell, again, Omega, there's more recent Dokkan events, obviously, but Omega is still a difficult Dokkan event. Don't get that mistaken. Don't think that Omega is some weak event or something like that. Because especially with all of the abilities that he has to, like, lock units in place, that can be very agitating to sort of go up against sometimes. So I do really like this Int Cell EZA. It makes, a fodder level unit very good. This is something that, is going to be very good for free-to-play players and really for all players, right? Just giving us all more options. LR Bojack over 4 million again, by the way. That's wild. That's wild because our health was very, very low going into this rotation. Obviously, Bojack has more attack the higher your health is. Bojack, the maximum damage you could see from LR Bojack would be if you go into a rotation with full health, so his passive activates to the full extent, and then LR, you would get super attack before LR Bojack attacks, so Big Bad Bosses can activate, because LR Bojack does have Big Bad Bosses, right? So that would give him his sort of, best attack buff. So here's the thing. Here's another reason why I don't foresee Int Cell really being able to compete with Tech Cell in terms of damage. People do overrate how many how many orbs Tech Cell needs. Really, he only needs 3 or 4, and he's good to go for both offensive and defensive capabilities. And then he gets the extra key from Rainbow Orbs, which is a very underrated ability. That helps out a lot for units that don't have the best links, because both Int Cell and Tech Cell do not have shocking speed, which does hurt them. They would be considerably better units if they did have shocking speed, and that's one advantage that SCR Cell does have over Tech and Int Cell, is SCR Cell does have shocking speed. Another thing to note is that Tech and Int Cell both do have the exact same link set. So really, the big difference for them, I would say, is in the fact that Tech Cell heals every single time he supers, Int Cell raises his attack every time he supers, and then Int Cell, he just heals, when your health is very, very low. But I would say, for the most part, Tech Cell should be the superior unit in every type of mode. Like, if it's me, I'm going into Super Battle Road, I'll take Tech Cell over Int Cell, EZA, Dokkan Battlefield, any of those. And on all of the teams, he should fit better as well. Again, because they have the same exact link set. So, for any given situation, I do think Tech Cell will work better. Just because Tech Cell, people think Tech Cell needs more orbs to both do good damage and to defend than he actually does. Because the thing about these EZA units is their stats just get so insanely high. So ridiculously high that, like, for orb changes, you don't need, or for orb, nuking units, you don't really need that many. because, like, you know, Tech Beerus, Tech Cell, like, all these old Dokkan Fest units, they've got the highest sort of, like, you know, attack stats, you know, defense stats of a lot of these units in the game outside of, like, LRs, because, you know, that S-rank potential system that they have is just very impressive. So I'm going to really, like, I'm very curious now to see, you know, what they might do with some of the other Ultimate Gohan units in terms of EZAs. I'm very curious to see what they'll do with INT Janemba, SCR Gogeta, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, by the way, they could really make him, like... He's already one of the best defensive units in the game, and if they just slap, like, a, you know, 60, 70, 80, 90% attack buff on him as well, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta... Like, he becomes better than, like, you know, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and stuff. Because, again, he's another one of those units with the S-rank potential system. Units that have that, their stats are just on a whole different level. And they just become, you know, sort of next level, like, super top-tier units. So, there we go, guys. You know, data download. We got a batch of a couple EZAs. And it's like, they're making these units so good. Like, who would have ever guessed that... They're buffing old units, sure, but they're legitimately making these old units better than even, like, new Dokkan Fest units and stuff. Like, I would say Tech Beerus is easily better than the AGL transforming Goku. Like, I would say that's like a 10-0 win in favor of Tech Beerus. Like, it's just the difference in strength for some of these units. It's incredible how they're giving free-to-play players a lot more options. So, there we go, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will catch y'all in the next one.